So you're asking the two gayest people you know if gay is a range of how quickly you'll move in with someone.
So you have don't hold back
stuff.
questions, because we are not holding back with
No,
y'all,
we're not.
So
No, that's why my mom can't listen to this.
yeah, well,
or the
we're
next
gonna
one.
give her a heads up about that.
Yeah. That was better. That was good. Take two. Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of the Glued Together podcast.
Yay!
We are very excited to be here. We have our makeshift podcast studio.
Yes.
Because that's how we do it here.
We just threw it together because we finally felt like it was time.
Yes. And
that's the most important thing, is that it's time.
Yes. So Jenilee has wanted to do a podcast for a very long time.
Together,
yes. Together for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's not that I was ever like resistant. I mean, I probably was a little resistant at times, but I just felt like we didn't have the time.
He definitely didn't have the space, like with his career at different moments. And I was like, oh, these conversations we're having, like we should be having them on a podcast.
Yeah.
So it's probably back in 2016 where I was like hardcore, like, yeah, let's do it. Let's just hit record. And here we are. It's 2023 and it's finally time. We finally have this space.
Right. Which we don't actually have the space. Jenilee keeps saying, we finally have the time. You're like making stories, telling people, we finally have the time to do the podcast. I just keep thinking like, what time? What time do we have? We don't have time for this. Like, this is not time.
You know what it is though? I think it's the emotional space that we've carved out over the years. Like, we're finally just like, yeah, you know what? We're not going to find the actual space,
right?
But we can just hit record.
Yeah. Yeah, put that mic a little closer, girl. They want to hear you.
Yes, sorry about that.
So I have a mic stand. There's a whole setup going on, but we have to get you a mic stand because that's not going to work.
Yeah,
not forever. Yeah. I mean, it works for now, but not forever.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm holding it at just the right place where you guys are hearing me, but not overhearing me.
Right.
Or underhearing me.
Correct. So how was your week?
My week has been pretty good, considering this was our very first family vacation week.
Yes, vacay.
We just took the time. We made some plans. I made some plans.
You really stepped it up.
I stepped it up. I made an actual itinerary for our extended holiday weekend getaway as a family in the Berkshires. And first, the smoke was there and we couldn't go outside because me and Antler both have asthma. And then the smoke cleared and the rain fell very hard for like 3 days. And so, none of our plans that I worked hard to make actually came through.
I looked at your agenda, like when you were at your getaway, which I'm sure you'll share about.
Yeah.
So I was looking at her agenda, which I had like looked at it, but I had a really busy week the week before. And I was just like, wow, girl really put in the time. And we have done nothing on this agenda. Well, we got Baba Louie's pizza. That was like the one thing on the agenda. And
because that's our favorite place to eat in the Berkshires.
You can still eat good even if it's raining.
Yeah. And that place hasn't changed. I mean, they've changed, but like the experience,
the quality.
Yes.
Great Barrington.
Yes.
If you know what we're talking, I don't know if they're a chain. I think there is like one other one, but they're not like a chain.
Yeah, we should definitely look up where else they are so we never miss it ever.
Yeah. Probably not here though.
So just feeling rejuvenated and grateful that we actually took the space, made a plan, even though we didn't follow the plan. Like, we were able to spend time together as a family for like a consecutive week. And that just felt like a big deal.
I had my laptop with me. I didn't really I posted a little bit, but I didn't make a post. Actually, I think I did make a post. But, it wasn't that much.
I think for me too, like, I cook all of our meals. And so I didn't have to do that.
Yes. We ate out a lot.
Yes, and we got plenty of really nice beverages. And yeah, I mean, we kind of got antler hooked on Starbucks, which
Yeah.
I don't know is
Not a good look.
the
for
best
us.
look right now, but hey, we got through the week. We
goes,
all were happy.
Starbucks.
He's got the stars in his eyes.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, we're not. He's not having caffeine. I mean, like, there's sugar, but he's not like not giving him like a nitro or anything.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm happy you had a good time. 'Cause I
Yeah.
felt like, you had your getaway.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
should tell like a little bit about your getaway.
Yeah, so on my bucket list for quite some time has been a day trip or a day pass at Kripalu, and it's like a yoga retreat center, like an R&R retreat center, and I got to do this like amazing guided kayak tour with this amazing tour guide named Amy. She did guided meditation on the water with us. We saw an eagle. It was just incredible. And I got to do that by myself, essentially. Actually, one of my childhood friends met me up there, and it was just incredible to spend that time together and reconnect. So, yeah, I'm feeling quite rejuvenated.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thanks, babe.
I'm still tired.
Yes.
I'm like always tired though. I've just been tired for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had a good time too. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't have a good time. I think I just, Antler is with you all the time, so when I'm there, he just wants all of my attention. You know what I mean?
This is true.
It kind of goes from like working all day to just like he wants all of me, which is fine. But I'm missing the days where we just sleep in, stay up late, eat too much ice cream in bed. You can't really do that. I mean, I guess you could, but we can't.
Every once in a while, we get a little crazy, and
we
the next morning, we're just like,
regret.
oh, we're still parents of a very early child.
I know. But it is my birthday week this week.
Yes.
Yes. So I turned 36 on Sunday, which is July 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very exciting.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what I'm doing to celebrate the birthday week particularly. For those who don't know, Jenelee's birthday is on the 19th. So next episode will be all up in your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Will be post my birthday, all up in your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm also kind of like keeping it low key because I feel like I'm going to eat and drink a lot this weekend. I could feel it in my bones. So.
And I asked you earlier, I don't know if you've given it any thought.
Yeah.
What kind of birthday cake do you want?
Yeah, my birthday cake. I don't know, like ice cream,
Ice cream
chocolatey,
cake? Okay.
like chocolate. I want ice cream. I don't really love cake.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like my favorite.
Yeah.
If you could find an ice cream cheesecake,
We've
been on a cheesecake thing. It's like the new thing.
I planted the seed in your head.
Plant the seed in my head. But ice cream, an ice cream cake. You know what I mean? Like a good.
Okay.
You know who has the good ones? Kilwins.
Ooh, yeah.
Kilwins would have a good ice cream cake. They're expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just an ice cream cake for us.
Yes.
Like we're not sharing this with a lot of people.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, so I turned 36 and I'm excited. We are going to a concert at Jones Beach.
Yes, that's right. Aiden actually.
I initiated that.
Yes.
A while ago.
Months ago. We were still in Florida when you booked it.
Yes. So that's gonna be fun, going with my brother and his girlfriend. And then Saturday night we'll have a little gathering.
Game night.
Yeah, a little game night. And
Aiden likes game nights.
I love game nights. I love any type of fun family style activities. And then on my birthday we'll have ice cream and cake, I guess, because that's how we'll do it. And I'm getting my first ever video game system. People don't want to know about this. You think people want to know about this? I'm getting my first ever video game system. It's a Nintendo Switch. I am not a video game guy. I never been a video game guy. I used to play like Tony Hawk back in the day.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, like Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, but like just like 1 and 2. Not like I could. Wasn't even that good.
He used to be a skater boy.
Yeah,
He said, "See you later, boy."
Yeah. But the reality is that people keep telling me all these games that I'm going to play. They're like, oh, there's this game and there's this game. And I'm like, I feel like people don't understand that, like, the reason I'm getting this is because some of my good friends play Mario Kart. And so I'm just getting this so I can Zoom call, drink a beer, and throw shells at people while playing. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the main key reason. I have no desire for, like, games.
And this is a big deal for Aiden. I feel like I want to share, like,
Okay,
you know,
I'm
for
listening.
you to be prioritizing your friendships.
Yes.
You know, Aiden,
I didn't even get a Father's Day gift for this. I bundled it.
it's true.
Got the bundle.
It's true. Yes. He's been bundling gifts so that he can connect with his friends that he misses very much.
Yeah, I miss my friends.
Because we moved away
I miss you.
from St. Pete.
It's my little crew.
Yeah. So that's a big deal to be
Yeah, it is.
prioritizing friendship.
It is. I'm a good friend, but I'm not good at prioritizing my friends, which has been a problem. But, you know, maybe we'll learn a little bit more about that in the podcast.
I think that we probably will.
I think we will. Yeah, so what would you say, like, so the week was a little rough. Like, what was the glue for your week? What kind of kept it all together in this last week?
Definitely the sex.
Oh, wow. Okay, we went there. We just jumped right in there.
I mean, you asked what the glue was.
Okay. All right. Okay. I was there for it. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't think people are not ready for you, Jenilee. A lot of people know me, but they're not ready for you. This is a little spitfire over here. Okay.
Okay.
Great. You could ask me?
What was your glue, or
Yeah.
no, you're gonna share about your week?
I just shared about my week.
Well, that's true. We both.
You're
shared.
gonna ask me what the glue is.
What was your glue this week?
Okay. Should I say the sex? Because I feel like now you're going to think it wasn't the sex.
No.
Okay.
I know that on some
All right,
level.
I'm just checking.
Yeah, no.
Okay, great.
You can have your own glue. It's
Okay. Okay, great. I think my glue was, honestly, I just kept getting, like, present was my glue, because Antler didn't care that it was raining or anything. Like, he just wanted to have fun. Mm-hmm. And so I had to really drop into that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a lot of my glue, was just like dropping in to the fact that we are in this house. It is smoky. It is rainy. It is not going as planned, and we can still have fun. And so I did my best to just be present, because I kept finding myself going out of the present and then feeling like anxious or angry, or you know what I mean? Getting like annoyed more like quicker. So I would definitely say like the presence was my glue this last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely saw you step into a deeper presence, and I think I was proud of you. I was proud of you, especially the day that I went on the retreat.
Yes.
And I got back and you shared the hoops that you jumped through to create a fun day for Antler.
Oh yeah, there were many hoops, but it was good.
I was proud of you.
But again, presence. I didn't have my phone. My phone had no service.
Mm-hmm.
Just like out in the woods. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We went on like a 1.5 mile hike. It was adorable. I had fun.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you went on a hike without me?
I know.
I want to go.
I know. It was a speed hike. He like pretty much ran through it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something that I'm blanking on it. Oh well. It's gonna be something about the glue.
Are we supposed to say what the definition of glue is in this podcast, or is it going to be left for interpretation, like, or assume?
I don't know. I mean, I think people know.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume people know.
Okay.
You know, they get to make it what they want it to be.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, whatever that is.
Yeah, like what kept it together for you.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the glue. That's it.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, if that thought comes back to me, I'll interrupt you and let you know.
Okay.
But let's jump into questions. So you pull up the questions. We have questions from you, which we're excited to answer.
So I have to put my password in? Does that mean it's still recording?
I'm going to assume it's still recording.
Okay, great.
I'm going to say a prayer.
Okay.
Let's take 2 here.
All right.
So we got our questions. Making sure I'm still recording. From you all. And we're really excited. So they're anonymous. You can go ahead and right now. Oh, you know what?
Yeah, I'm still recording.
You're still recording. Great. I'm going to do a plug, a non-shameless plug. You can like the video if you like so far.
Please.
You can share it, subscribe.
All of that.
All of the things. We're hosting it now on my channel because it just makes the most sense. We're just going to see how this all evolves, honestly.
Yeah.
But if you want to get in on next week's episode and ask some anonymous questions, there's a link in the description box below. You could also email us. I noticed that even though you're asking them anonymously, you might not feel comfortable typing in your anonymousness, especially like maybe if your partner is also listening, or you know what I mean. So you can also email us at gluedtogetherpodcast@gmail.com. You could just email us your question, you know. And I mean, if you want to write your name and you want like a little shout out, that's fine too.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be anonymous, but that is an option.
I think anonymous is just like a nice way to get people to really ask questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
We want to like provide value to you. So, but
totally.
I still can't remember the question, the thing I was going to ask. All right. I'm
It'll
getting
come
over it.
when it's ready. Ready?
Yeah. Okay. Or whenever at all. It's possible too. All right. First question, babe. Go for it.
Okay. It says, I'm a 48-year-old trans.
You're a little close.
Okay. Still working out the mic.
Yeah. I might be close this whole time, so you know, who knows.
I'm a 48-year-old trans man struggling with how and when to come out to my potential partner. I have been on T for 9 years and have not been able to date, or I have not been on a date, or in a relationship for 12-ish years. I recently asked out a woman I used to work with if she'd like to go out sometime, which is a huge step for me. We haven't gone out yet, but I'm still panicking about when and how to have that conversation with her if we get that far. I've asked my therapist and a few close friends what they think, and they all had some good advice. But since none of them are trans or have been in a relationship with a trans person, they aren't sure how to help me. I would love to hear what you both think. Appreciate you both.
How old are they? Does it say their age?
48.
48. Not dated in 12 years, which is a long time. And been on T that whole time. Or for 9 years.
Right. Yeah, 9 years is a chunk of time, too.
Still going here.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, 9 years is a chunk of time, too.
Yeah, 9 years. I mean, you're doing the thing. You're committed. 9 years.
Definitely.
So, they're asking out someone from work. And they don't know how to do it?
Yeah. They don't know how or when to come out to this potential partner.
Oh, how or when.
And it's a potential partner, right? They're kind of in that new maybe stage.
You know, I feel like I'm much more always on the the 3-date rule. First of all, I've been on no dates as a trans person, except for with her. Okay? So, I'm going to help out the best I can. But I feel like there's a 3-date rule. Okay? Because, you've never gone on a date with this girl. You're not sleeping with her on the first. Is it a girl? I'm assuming. I don't know. It doesn't say.
Doesn't. Their pronouns are she.
Okay. So,
and her.
For her, right? So, he's probably not going to sleep with her on the first date, right? I mean, maybe if they really hit it off, but it seems like that's probably not what's going to happen. So that means you're good for the first date. You don't have to say anything on the first date if you don't want to.
Right.
I feel like the second date, in my mind, this is how dates go. This is how dating goes. The second date, maybe you're having a more intimate date. You're like talking more. You know what I mean? Third date, maybe you're gonna hook up.
Okay.
No, you don't agree? You don't have. It's fine. It's fine. And I feel like if you think that it's good, I just feel like at the moment you feel like this could be a real potential match, and you could really spend time with this person, and maybe that intimacy comes after that. I feel like that's when you would tell. That's the time. And you know what? Screw the date rules. If it happens on the first date, then you say it on the first date. If it happens, you know what I mean? If it happens, then you say it. And I think that is kind of you know what I mean? Because you don't have to say it in the first moment you meet someone. But I do think that if you're going to have an intimate, sex aside, just an intimate relationship with someone, they're going to have to know.
Right.
Right. I've tried to have friendships where people didn't, I would touch that before. Friendships before, and people didn't know.
Right.
And it just felt like I couldn't be my true self. Even if we were never talking about trans stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until I share that information. That's not everyone though. But
Yeah.
clearly this person does want to tell her at some point, or they wouldn't be asking.
Right. Exactly.
What do you think as the counterpart to that relationship?
Yeah. I think everyone's different in terms of what's your anxiety level about maybe having something tangible be a hint. For me, you kind of laughed at me recently because I was saying how I haven't come out to a new mom friend that I made.
Yes.
And that I'm kind of nervous about that because I've had unique experiences with different friends. And you were like, do you bring your water bottle to your dates with her? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, she knows.
Your water bottle, look at it. It says someone I love is trans.
Right.
You've got a rainbow shell.
Right.
The future is inclusive. You've got the equal symbol. What else you got on that thing?
I have a very expressive H2O container.
Your water bottle speaks volumes.
Yes. So with that said, so I'm the type of person who doesn't have the anxiety level of not being able to carry something like that, because part of me subconsciously wants her to be oh, I love your water bottle, and then that be the opener, or oh, my cousin is transgender, or just have some sort of subtle moment of it's cool,
a window,
trans people are cool, or because you still don't know about how they would feel about dating someone. But you know that, okay, they're not completely closed off.
Putting your little toe in the water.
Yes, I like to put my toe in. But, again, I'm a person that feels comfortable doing that, and not everybody may feel that way. So...
That's a good point. I feel like I like to jump in.
Right.
But it can take time for me to jump in. So that's the thing. It's not like I see the water and I'm I'm in. It's I see the water, I circle the water, I kind of look at how other people are in the water, you know what I mean? And then I'm okay, no toes, just jump.
Yeah, because when I was finally ready to tell her, I had told her within the first 5 minutes of that date, so much, and for just the whole thing,
Spilled it all out.
Right. And because I had decided I was ready. So I think what I want to say about it is lean into your own body comfortability around this person. I finally felt safe telling this friend, right? I'm not saying that I'm in any way in your shoes, because I'm not a trans person trying to tell someone that I'm trans, but in my own process of coming out as the partner of a trans person, this is what it's been like for me, just trying to find ways to not just be like, my husband is trans, just like out of nowhere, when it's not organically part of a conversation and there's no invitation into it. So I guess what I would say is figure out a way to explore the topic without it being about you first, and even see how that even goes, how their reaction to the topic feels in your body.
Yeah.
You know, because that could be a safety boundary for you and your
toes.
body, you know.
Dip them toes in.
Dip them toes
Dip
in.
them toes. Get them in there. Get in the ring.
Yeah, you can even secretly wear trans colors on your toenails if you're not wearing sandals.
Right.
You know, just to kind of empower your toes.
Okay. Yeah. Empowered toes. Dip your empowered toes into that pool and see how the water feels. Test it out.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think that's a good technique. I mean, you know, like usually we're not picking people that really won't fall in line with who we are in some capacity.
Right.
Not always, but
yeah, exactly. And then me on the partner side, I think I'm a person who I don't know. I never really thought twice about dating someone versus not dating someone based on their gender. It never was really a thing for me.
Well, yeah, because you're pansexual.
Right.
So it's not a thought.
Right, but how, like, I'm a fish in the sea. Like this, you know, every if I were a fish. But this person, right? This person, this potential partner of yours is also a fish in the sea who deserves the same opportunity to be a pansexual fish in the sea, a queer fish in the sea, a straight fish in the sea. Like, everyone needs that. And
the rainbow trout.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Well, there you go. Let us know how it goes.
Yes,
hit us
definitely.
Up.
Yeah, we definitely want the follow up.
Yes. Yeah, follow up.
Follow up.
We are both cancers.
Follow uppers.
I'm kind of a gossip king. I don't talk gossip, but I like to listen to other people's gossip. Like, I won't. Are you gonna say that what are you gonna say right now?
He wants to know everything.
I want to know everything.
Don't
I won't talk about it though, right? I'm good at keeping secrets.
Yes, we're both good at keeping secrets.
I don't talk about. I'm not like, oh, you have to tell me, and then like you'll never guess what Johnny told me. Like,
right.
I'm more like, I know what Johnny said, and I'm not telling any of you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Next question.
Okay. Next question. A little
I need
bit.
a chair next time. Kind of constantly moving here.
All right. What, if any, advice would you give to a cisgender person interested in dating someone transgender?
What if this girl that the guy in the first one is talking about wrote this question?
Oh my God. So the other thing we need to share before we go any further on this podcast is that we have been known to be matchmakers in our friend groups.
Yes.
And actual legit matchmakers, like, these people are still together.
Yeah.
So just putting that out there, like, this podcast could be attracting that vibe right now.
Yeah. We're getting, it's a close vibe.
Aw, so I love that. I love thinking that that's possible. That, yeah, like, each of these people are just, like, writing us, like, thinking the other person isn't.
That's a new rom-com. Right? Like, you write into a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Starring, I don't know, somebody
Jenilee and Aydian, darling?
No, I don't want to be an actor. No thanks. Someone else can play me. I'll just cash the checks, the royalty checks for using my name. I really don't want to act. Okay. So, I hope I'm not too loud either. I feel like I could be closer and you could be further away. Guess we're going to find out, people.
So I'll go first. The advice I would give to a cisgender person interested in dating as someone transgender is assume nothing in terms of what you know about any other transgender person, right? Like, so let's say you're interested in dating a transgender person and you have a close friend that's transgender, or a brother that is, or you have several different transgender people in your life, and so you think that you know what to expect, and you know what language to use with them and how they're going to want to be treated. And I think the biggest thing I would say is, like, pretend you don't know any of that and just treat them as if they're brand new, and you don't assume anything about what they're going to need, what they're going to prefer. Because I think that I learned that early on in my time and experience in the transgender community, because I started out knowing one person that was trans, and then slowly met more and more and started realizing, like, yeah, like, sure, they share an identity, but they are all very different.
Yeah. Well, but don't you think that there's some things that you can, like, I mean, you know, maybe I'm just taking your language, like, too literally, but don't you think that there's some things, if you do know a trans person, like, you kind of know some things about trans people, right? Like, you know that, like, they may or may not be dealing with dysphoria. You know that, like, you shouldn't use their, you know, birth name. You know that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that there's some, I mean, again, maybe I'm just being, like, a little too literal with your language.
No, I like that.
You know,
I think you're right. I think,
yes. I think, like, it's like the personal experiences. Like, just because I, as a trans man, might not be comfortable painting my nails doesn't mean that other trans men are not are comfortable painting their nails. Right. So, like, don't just assume, like, oh, well, you know, you dated Aiden, he doesn't paint his nails, so why are you painting your nails? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Yeah, no, I'm happy you said that. I think I'm coming from the place of, like, even when we met, I was already had been in a relationship with a trans
that was helpful.
man.
That was helpful that you had, because there was some explaining I didn't have to do.
Absolutely. I
think
think
all.
Exactly. I think it was helpful to a point, but there's a very fine line where it's helpful versus not helpful, because you can fall into making generalizations or assumptions about the extremity of maybe somebody's dysphoria, or you know, where exactly they fall on the gender spectrum versus the other person, you know. You know, I think that there's just a fine line, and I think that what you're saying is also true. Like, yes, like, use what you know as a gauge, but also check in with them and make sure that that is where they stand, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't have anything to add to that. I feel like that the combination of what we both said is, like, our answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Is your arm getting tired? I feel
so. This one was falling asleep, so that's why I like changed my whole
we gotta get you a mic here, mic stand here.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm making you do all the work. You're reading the questions. You're holding the mic.
It's okay. Sometimes you do all the work too.
That's
baby.
right. Well, this past week I did all the work. I think my mom will probably listen to this.
No, I was thinking
you're gonna tell her not to.
I was thinking that we should just
tell her
say,
mom's
like,
not.
I think we should just say, like, if you want to listen, that's on you.
But we're going to talk about sex.
You're going to hear things that you
don't want to hear.
May not want to know.
No, I don't think she wants to know. Do you want me to read one? Or actually, it's kind of far away.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with this.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with things. We finally got it set up.
We'll take turns, though. Next time, we'll put it on your side. And you.
All right. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So next one says.
Next up. I'm ready for it.
Me and my girlfriend have been have been seeing each other.
Oh my gosh, girl, what is on your mind? People are gonna think this is the first episode. People are gonna think some things.
It's all your fault.
I did nothing. I did nothing.
Me and my girlfriend have been seeing each other for the last 6 months, and it's been great. Probably both of our first healthy relationships.
Oh, praise,
Amazing.
yes.
We're long distance, and basically life has gone in a way that we have an opportunity to live together.
Okay.
Nice. We've talked extensively about what it would look like, the good and the bad, and as much as we want to, and it makes sense for our jobs and the current housing crisis in our country, we're afraid it might be too soon because it's only official for the past 3 months. What do you guys think? Are we being too gay and doing it for and going for it too soon? Or should we follow our gut? Help. Side note, so excited for you both on starting this pod.
Oh.
Can't wait to see what it brings
Love
to
it.
the table for you guys and the listeners' heart.
Love it. First of all, you're not being too gay, actually. If you were being too gay, you would have already moved in.
You would have U-hauled it like 3 weeks ago.
You would have already
Maybe 4.
You would be sending us another different question. You know what I mean? Asking if in 3 more months, is it too soon to get married? Right? Like, so you could actually, if you wanted to, you could turn the gay meter up a little bit. I mean, you could.
To each their own.
To each their own. I don't know. I mean, and you know, the other thing too is like, I know that like it's a big lesbian joke, like to bring like, what does a lesbian bring on a second date? A U-Haul bus or van or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are a lot of couples, regardless of how they identify, that are moving in really quick these days. You know what I mean? And I think it is a little bit of the you know, economical climate we're in, right? Like, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna say like just move in together. I mean, listen, do what you want, but you're asking, so I'm gonna give what I would answer, which is just move in together. It's fine. It's to be fine. Like, what's the worst case? Like, advice: if you're gonna move in together and get a lease together, get it in one person's name, because if you get a lease in two person's name, it's a lot harder to break a lease. Because
you're going down a rabbit hole.
Okay, sorry. I'm coming back up. My ears are peeking up. Move in together. Do it. If you get married in 3 weeks, Jenilee's an officiant.
Yes,
I'll come dance. Like, invite us, you know?
Yeah, we would love to.
We'd love to party with you.
Yes.
But don't call me if you get divorced.
So I feel like we have to share the fact that we moved in
We were very smart.
We were fast. We were fast.
Listen.
So I think that life circumstances are no coincidence, and everything absolutely happens for a reason, and the universe is conspiring to bring us together for some purpose. And so for us, my dad was dying, and so we moved in together because Aydian was kind enough to want to help me take care of my dad.
That was 7 or 8 months in.
It was
I moved in August 1st. August 1st.
Okay. Yeah.
It was August because we had the birthday party, the joint birthday party, and then you left. And like after 10 days,
yeah,
I quit my job.
Right.
And moved there.
Yeah, and it was so sweet the way that he asked me and wanted to help, and it just, again, like if that didn't happen, we weren't necessarily planning to do that so soon. But it ended really well because we have lived together ever since, and it's been almost 14 years.
And I asked you to marry me like
after 10 months.
Yeah.
11 months? Yeah, because it was
so like 3 months after I moved there.
Yeah, it was. We were 11 months
I asked
together.
You to marry me. But then we waited like a year and a half to get married. But still.
We did. And we planned a fabulous wedding.
So you're asking the two gayest people you know if gay is a range of how quickly you'll move in with someone.
So you have to go with your gut, and you have to take the circumstances around you and the things happening in the outer sphere as a sign to pursue something, in maybe a timing that would have been different if circumstances were different. And that's just my opinion, because we've done that and it's worked out for us. Yeah. So we can only really share what's worked for us.
I mean, I think like the smart thing to just think about, which you do mention in, I love this question, by the way, because it's like nice and detailed and we get some. So if you're going to ask a question, give us some background. Yeah. It's really helpful. But I mean, I think just thinking about all the things you're thinking about, like, okay, financially, right? You talked about moving in because of the finances. Like, will moving in together actually be cheaper than if you both live separately, right? Like, if you lived with a roommate, like, would it actually be cheaper if you both lived with roommates for a year and then moved in together? Like, you know what I mean? Is the cost of moving, whoever is moving to the different state, is that actually going to be cheaper? Like, just thinking about the real financialness of everything is important. Instead of just assuming, like, well, we're going to live together, so we'll save money. And it's like, or you're just going to, like, spend more money because now you're looking for a 3-bedroom apartment instead of a 2-bed. You know what I mean? Like, so just I think just thinking about the financial part, and then I mean, and then just like thinking about just making. I mean, the fact that you asked the question is kind of like you're kind of thinking about this already, but
yeah. And in the spirit of the podcast, I invite you to ask yourself, like, what's going to be your glue, each of you, if you decide to move in together soon?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to be the thing that keeps you together?
Yeah.
Is it that you each have a separate space, even if that means it's just a closet where you can go and the other person isn't really invited there?
Putting the gays back in the closet over here.
Yeah, that's true. That's an interesting spin. But yeah, just like what's going to be the thing? What's the proactive?
Yeah. What do you need to make it stay together? Like, what is that? Communication? Yeah. Is it a date night? Do you need to save money? You know what I mean? Because you have a goal of buying a house or starting a family, like, so
right.
Definitely like thinking about those things is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next question.
Yeah, and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, we want to know. Send us a pic of you in the helm.
Yeah, we want the U-Haul photo.
I know. I don't want the breakup photo, though. I just want to pretend that all my advice is good advice.
Yes.
That's not true. You can send us the breakup photo. It's okay. I hope you don't break up.
Or you're happily ever after.
Yeah. That's another wedding we can go to. I'm going to all the weddings. Yes. That's the only reason I started this podcast. So I can get invited to weddings and dance and drink for free.
We do love weddings.
We love a good wedding.
We've considered being wedding crashers, but we just don't have it in us.
Yeah. I don't want to get kicked out of a wedding.
Okay.
Next up.
And thank you for all the love.
Yes.
All of you.
You're a little close to the mic, girl.
Okay, thanks.
I could just see the little bar.
Oh, right.
It's like it's a messy game. I can't even see mine.
Something just fell off the mic. What is this? Seriously,
it's just a piece. Give me.
Okay.
It's just a little piece that screws like to the stand.
I broke the mic. I broke the podcast.
I keep hoping people can hear me. Can you hear me? They could probably hear me. I've never had anyone say, Aiden, you're talking too low. I can't hear you.
Yeah, not a thing.
No, it doesn't happen.
I feel like I am holding it a little awkwardly, though. Okay.
You look great.
Thanks, baby. So, next question. I'm not sure if this works for the podcast, but how have you kept intimacy alive in your relationship? And then it says, struggling in mine in parentheses.
Well, clearly it's made for the podcast since we've talked about intimacy already. So, with a bang, Jenilee jumped right into that pool. How do we keep it alive?
It says, how have you kept intimacy alive in your relationship?
I mean, I think that it has ebbed and flowed 100%. And I think, you know what, this is probably also why we're okay to have this podcast now, too. Because I think that there were times where we just, it's not that we didn't want to be honest about our relationship, but it's just, you know, you don't feel secure, you don't feel safe, you just, you know what I mean? Like, you're just still healing some of the things that are going on in your relationship personally and together. And so, like, sharing that is not, you know, like, there's a time and place to share the things that you're actively working on. And I think more times than not, it's better to share the things that you have already worked on. Because you're always still working a little bit. Like, you're always adding a little couple of strokes to the you know, the canvas. But
Totally.
But I think, like, you know, I think I'll share one thing that I think has helped our intimacy stay alive, and then maybe you can share another thing. So I would say there's a couple of different kinds of glue that we've used at different times. You know, sometimes like Gorilla Glue, you know what I mean? Sometimes it was like that cheap stick glue. It didn't really work, you know what I mean? Kind of stuck it together for a minute and it was like fell off on a hot day. But I think that we name, like, when we're not having sex. Like, we will name it. Either I'll name it or you'll name it. Like, we'll just kind of like not even call each other out on it, but just call us out on it. And so, like, we'll just be like, okay, so it's been a week. Like, when are we gonna have sex? Or it's been 2 weeks, right? Like, there's been times where it's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know.
Well, especially since being parents. Yeah. Like, the first couple of years with Antler.
Really hard. Yeah. I mean, I think there was maybe even a month that went by.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're not even allowed. You have to be, like, cleared.
Right. But I mean, I'm talking non-physical reasons.
Yeah.
Just like emotional reasons why we didn't have sex. And so I think that has been good and bad. Like it's been a glue that's worked and a glue that doesn't work, because sometimes you get, like, you know, you feel like you are calling someone out, and you know what I mean? But I think naming it has been just like saying it out loud, being like, we haven't had sex in a week. Then the other like the two of you have to be like, because you can't, like, lie about it. You can't be like, well, what do you mean? Like, you're both there. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way around it. It's just, you know.
I think, too, like, what's coming to mind for me, and, like, I'm not going to take the mic completely because I know you're not done, but just that talking about sex, period, in your relationship is something that we've grown into. Like, just, actually, like, verbalizing and communicating about it outside of the actual bedroom or the actual act is something that I feel like we've grown into, and not being afraid to, like, put it on the calendar and be like, it's like,
is so that your glue? Put the calendar.
Yes, we have the expectation of it on certain days, and sure, it's going to happen in between there as well sometimes, and that's a bonus. But, like,
you're lucky.
We have very lucky. We have the expectation that I'm going to do the work I need to do for myself to get myself into the space to actually be open and ready for something like that.
Right.
You can always say no and whatever if you're still not into it, but, like, I'm inviting myself and I'm inviting you into this space of intimacy at this time on this day, and if we are able to meet there in the middle, then amazing, and usually we are at this point because we've put this into practice for a while now, like you know, and I feel like when I think about our younger years, it definitely personally
I would have never wanted you to put on the calendar.
No, it was like,
I'd be like,
it was like a turn. It felt like a turn off, or like it was like it was.
We had a
there
kid.
Was something. There was something like a negative connotation attached to, like, planning it, or like, oh, well, what's wrong with us if we have to plan it? And it's like, actually nothing, because like, I know what to expect. I know how to prioritize, you know, getting myself into that because I'm the type of person where, like, I need to be in the emotional state of that openness. Yeah. And the only way that's going to happen is if I actually carve out time
and
to do that.
I would say it's not even that we actually do or don't like have sex on those days.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just like we were supposed to have it on Wednesday and we didn't. And then it's like in our minds, right? So then when Friday comes, we're like, nope, tonight, because we were supposed to do it 2 days. You know what I mean? Like, so it's more of just like keeping it on the agenda.
Right.
So because it can just fly by. Like you're living together, you both have jobs, you have a kid,
Right.
maybe you don't. Like shit happens.
Yeah, yeah. Kid or no kid, at this point in
Yeah.
the game, like we definitely needed to change up the way that we
Yeah.
were approaching it in order to just be happy. Because otherwise, like one person is ready and the other person is not,
Right.
and it's like, and that can happen anyways, right?
I don't know
but-
if this is sex talk, but it's getting hot in here, isn't it?
It's getting
like getting
yeah,
really hot in
It's
here.
getting hot in here.
I have to turn the air conditioner off when we are recording because you can
Yeah,
hear it.
yeah.
But I just before we move on to the
Yeah.
next question, the question itself, how do you keep it alive? Was that the phrase that they used?
So they said, how have you kept intimacy alive in your relationship?
Okay. Getting intimate with that mic. I think the last thing I'll say is, so we've been together for 14 years, and this year, in January, we're kind of like skipping ahead.
Right.
13 and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say that like, if this is a long-term thing, if maybe that's why keeping it alive, because I think most times like the first few years, like there's nothing to keep alive, you just like have sex a lot, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you don't have a lot of things, like you're hung up on each other, and, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think that we have both really worked hard, and I'm sure we'll get more into this as we continue on the
Yeah.
pod. Like we have worked really hard to be able to acknowledge that like our sexual preferences and things we like have expanded or diminished in certain areas, and I think that has allowed the exploration of how we are intimate to make it like to continue that, like the spiciness. You know what I mean? Like, and spicy doesn't always mean like, like fetish or anything, but just like, it's just like new. What? Like,
I'm laughing. It's like you can't be afraid to like throw a bunch of sex toys away because you've just outgrown them as
we
a couple.
tried to give away all of our sex toys.
That's why I was laughing, because he legit group texted his buddies / boys, and he texted them a photo of our sex toys saying like,
First of all, it wasn't a photo. Okay, it was listen, they need clarity, girl. Okay. Number one, sex toys are expensive. Okay.
they are.
We can clean. They were clean. We do not have any STIs or any other things. Okay. Like, and shit's expensive. Okay. Clean, use sex toys from someone you know, which I don't know. To me is like, I don't know, maybe that could be more like interesting or less interesting based on your preference. But, and the picture, I didn't like put a strap on. I'm like, hey guys, you know what I mean? It was just a picture of a bag or box.
Yes.
It was a box, and and there were like packers, there was just like different things that we weren't using.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know, I don't know, like, I don't know if there was something that I wanted that is like very expensive.
Absolutely.
I would consider it,
Yeah.
throw it in the dishwasher,
Yeah, one person's trash is another person's pleasure.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
I get it.
You
Yeah,
get it
I
now.
was a little
were
taken
taken
back
back.
initially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as we've grown emotionally, like as individuals, like we've just brought different
Yeah.
desires to the table and
Right.
different needs, and I think we've had to be really vulnerable and open with each other about that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's worked out.
It's worked out.
It's
We've put
it's
a lot
got
of
the
work
rewards.
in,
Yeah,
and it's worked out.
Yes.
And I think that's, and we're gonna wrap up, and I think like what I want to talk about in the wrap up is just that like that's what we want to share on this podcast. but we want to do it in like a fun way. And we don't want to talk. I was going to say we don't want to talk at you, even though we're literally like answering questions as if we know the answers to your fucking life. So it's kind of funny how I worded that.
This is just what we think. That's all it is.
But what we want is like we want to share what we've learned. We are not perfect, but we have worked very hard, and we still have things. And we want to, we're going to continue to work on those things and share, you know what I mean, as they happen that we feel comfortable sharing. And we also we want to invite you to think about what your relationships are like, and that, relationship with yourself, right? Because relationship with another person starts with you, right? Relationship with other people, that could be intimacy, but we also have questions that we're not getting to today about parenting and stuff, right? Relationships with your kids, relationships with your aunts, your uncles, you know what I mean? Parent questions, relationships with your kid, so we just want to invite people to think about all of the types of relationships that you have, and what are you doing, right? And that's why we named it Glued Together, because it's no one is perfect,
right?
No one out there is perfect. People put #couple goals, and I'm like, that's really sweet, but also I kind of laugh because I'm like, we shouldn't we're not a goal, you know what I mean? We're not a goal, we're an example, right?
Yeah, we're an example of a couple putting in the work to love each other,
right?
And whatever that looks like. And so I can understand why to some people that would be goals, and we never want people to think that we're perfect or that we have it all figured out, because we don't, but we have figured out some shit along the way. And
that's a good point. We're not goals because we're perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not why we're goals.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we're I like that reframe, so I appreciate that. I think that's good. And so we want to hear from you, right? If you liked this vodcast, which Jenilee laughs at me because I call it a vodcast because it's a video podcast and it's not actually a podcast.
Yeah, well, it might be one day. But right now it's
up to you. No.
We're doing with what we have and the space that we have available.
All the space, all the resources
we have available. Yes.
But if you liked this podcast, please, please, please like the video. Share the video with your partner or someone else that you think might benefit from our conversation. Today was all relationships, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was a relationship theme. Also, you can subscribe to the channel. I have other stuff on my channel too, but if you want to get notifications, turn your notifications on so you can get alerted when we drop a podcast. We're going to try to keep it to a schedule, but I'm not even going to say what the schedule is because I'm going to try. Yes. We know it'll be weekly. That's one thing we're
weekly podcast. Yes.
And drop your questions. Again, you could just drop them in the comments if you don't mind putting a question there. If you want to do it anonymously, you can do it on the link in the description box, or you can go ahead and email us at gluedtogetherpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and there's no bad questions.
No.
And we love the juicy, thorough, vulnerable, don't hold back questions, because we are not holding back with y'all.
We're not.
So
no, that's why my mom can't listen to this.
Yeah, well, we're gonna give her a heads up about that, and she can make her own decisions.
Yeah, she's
a big girl.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to the first episode of Glued Together, and we hope you'll stick around.
Thank you so much.
You like that?
This was fun. Yeah.
Stick around.
Yeah. So you're going to learn how corny Aydian is on the pod.
I'll get there already now.
Okay.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.